Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Looks like, the Heat yesterday mired in a 7-game losing streak. Look, this is going to happen with the noise, but the hot take in Heat world yesterday that had everybody kind of buzzing is Kendrick Perkins of ESPN saying on the low post, I believe he said it on NBA Today as well, that the Miami Heat should trade Jimmy Butler to a true contender. And that, they should recognize that this core with Bam and Tyler is not going anywhere. And then they should trade him somewhere like a New York, like a Philadelphia, somewhere where he can actually go and win a title. And so this obviously lit the internet on fire with the Miami Heat, which, look, I'm not going to crush Kendrick Perkins for coming up with a hot take with trading Jimmy Butler. I don't think it's like, when your team doesn't have a win over 2 weeks and you were just in the NBA Finals, I think that comes with the noise. So I'm not going to crush for that. Hell, I was doing hypotheticals for getting LeBron to the Heat after the loss to the Phoenix Suns the next day on the radio show. So I'm not going to crush Kendrick Perkins. I've thought some of his other takes are pretty dumb, and that he's a bit of a quick flip-flopper when it comes to this stuff, and a bit of a phony Heat fan, or tries to champion the Heat and then will, takes these backsies on that. But I'm not going to crush him for this certain idea because I think it happens with other guys, right? If LeBron is going through it, people talk about, is he unhappy? Is he going to go? If Giannis and the Bucks don't live up to expectations, is he going to ask out? So this does come with the noise of your team being a title hopeful, I will say, and having title goals, and your star being the age that he is and not looking like it's possible for him to get there. So I honestly am not going to crush the take from Kendrick Perkins. Do I think that he will actually do this with Jimmy Butler, especially this year? I would find that really, really hard to believe unless Jimmy Butler absolutely demanded it. And I don't think Jimmy Butler is going to do that. He was talking in the locker room after the most recent loss, and I thought he handled himself really well. When Jimmy wants to, Jimmy can get pretty thoughtful on stuff. And I thought that he had really good, fair criticisms, measured takes of the entire team, and has throughout all of this, and has always maintained a confidence with his guys in the locker room. And I know there's been a lot of drama that people have stirred up on Twitter with Jimmy Butler's friends or members of the Jimmy Butler team who are criticizing Spo or Bam or any of these guys with the way the team's playing. Look, when you don't win over 2 weeks, stuff that's negative is going to come out. It comes with the territory. It just does. And I also think that as the fan base, you're looking around and you're saying, is this core of Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler going to be the core going forward? Can they succeed? Can they coexist? Just from a basketball standpoint, not even from an ego standpoint. I think the egos are fine. I think the personalities are okay. I don't think it's a Wade and LeBron type of bromance, but I think it's fine. It's just a matter of a basketball fit. And can Jimmy Butler, who does want to win a championship, do it with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero by his side? He's gotten very close with Bam Adebayo. I don't think that has been a big question. Can Bam be a second guy next to Jimmy and help with winning? Very much seems like he can. Can Tyler Hero? We haven't really seen anything since his rookie year because he's dealt with a ton of injuries. The question that he'd have to ask themselves when it comes to Jimmy and whether they see a future with Jimmy going forward is, of Jimmy's age, which is, 34 right now, be 35 next year, and then his extension has an extra year, but it's a player option for $50+ million. Does Jimmy Butler go into this offseason and want another guaranteed year? Does he want an extension? And if he doesn't get that, what will that mean? Because Jimmy Butler's problems, all these things that you heard about with Jimmy Butler coming into the organization, he's a bad teammate, he's a locker room cancer. A lot of that is done with the team that he was with did not want to invest in him. Now, the Heat are on a different side. They have paid Jimmy Butler handsomely, but he's also taken them to very elite heights. If you're Jimmy Butler and you're in his camp and you see Eric Spoelstra get the biggest coaching contract of all time, and especially, this is something to watch out for. If the Miami Heat go into this summer and they give Bam an extension, which they probably will because Bam's 27 years old, so he is going to go out there and I'd imagine is probably going to be named an all-star later today. Probably. So he's going to be a multiple-time all-star. He's turning 27 in the summer. I would think a no-brainer that they're going to give Bam Adebayo an extension because he's their captain. He's the culture carrier. He's all that type of stuff. Also has a really good relationship with a lot of young stars. So whatever that build looks like next, once Jimmy Butler is gone, the pipeline of getting people to want to come to Miami typically has to do with wanting to play with Bam Adebayo. So do the Miami Heat think if they pay Bam, but are a little bit iffy on paying Jimmy because of his age and because of how many games he misses and because maybe this has run its course and they don't give Jimmy an extension or they don't give Jimmy some contract demand that he wants, they don't take care of Jimmy in the way that he wants, will that cause a problem? And will that cause and bring back some of the stuff that has been issues with him in other places? And then if that is the case, if they really look at this in the mirror, is this the best time to get rid of Jimmy Butler? Me personally, I'm not getting rid of Jimmy Butler. I think the guy has earned his contract. I think that he'd have made this mistake before with Dwayne Wade. And as much as I love Bam Adebayo, and I really, really do love him as a player, and Tyler Hero, I think, is tremendous and works hard, neither of those guys has really looked like they're ready to take the bull by the horns and say, this is my team, I can do this, I can lead, because that's what a lot of this was for, and especially coexisting with Jimmy. So you're just, because I don't think Jimmy's going to want something where he's like 40 years old and playing. Probably just would want like a couple more guaranteed years, maybe till he's 37. This is just me spitballing, assuming. I'm doing this with no intel. I don't know. But I don't picture him with all the aspirations he has. I don't picture him playing till he's 40 years old, even though the money has gotten really crazy in the NBA. And I think we'll retool how long you want to play because of how crazy the money has gotten in the NBA. So if the Heat have had an honest assessment of themselves with 9 days until the trade deadline, I think, well, should we get a haul for him right now because somebody will really overpay for him? I still can't see them doing it. Maybe in the summer, somebody will, because I do think that if they really ride this season till the wheels fall off and they assess this in the summer and they know there's going to be some issues there, then I think maybe we could possibly see that as a more likelihood. I can't see the Heat going over the next 9 days and saying, oh, we're traded Jimmy Butler. We're done. This is running scores. I think if anything, the more likely is, do they look to, do they try and fish on a Tyler Hero deal again? Can't imagine that's going to lure a lot, especially with how Tyler has been struggling lately. If they really wanted to get wacky with it, I'm not saying any of this stuff is likely, guys. I'm just throwing stuff against the wall because they haven't won a game in 2 weeks. So I'm sure these are things that they have spitballed all around the facility and have talked about and have just been like, what's the idea on this? But if they really wanted to take a detonator to it and they wanted a haul of things, is there a Bam Adebayo trade that could happen that would really just reshape the roster and put them in a place where, they have a role-playing big man who can deter stuff, but also can get something that they just think fits better as a number two next to. I don't even know what that is, what that even looks like, because it sounds too crazy. I don't think they're ever going to trade Bam unless like a whale was dropped on their doorstep. I don't think they're going to do it or entertain it. And especially probably doing this after a 7-game losing streak, worst losing streak in 17 years. Probably not the place to rightfully think about a seismic move like that, as it is with Jimmy Butler, as it isn't with Jimmy Butler. So, look, crazy things that Kendrick Perkins is bringing up. I don't think that Jimmy Butler's going to get traded to anybody before the trade deadline unless some leak happens that he demands it and he's like, I want to go play for Tibbs again. I can't see it happening. But could there be drama on the horizon with if this, let's just say, ends with a first or second round exit, and then everybody's coming for their extensions by the end of this thing, and that's when the Heat really have to make decisions about this, then could there be some drama about whose long-term future is here in Miami? Yeah, I could see that being the case. But I don't think that that's going to be something that happens in the next 9 days.